I just wanted to, Cobrajin here. I was doing a stream about ribbons and the game crashed, and that's alright. I had kind of gone through
Oh,
what I needed.
sorry. Artists will play with the volume off.
Play with your life off in a minute. So, yeah, I was doing a stream on ribbons and everything, but I went through what I had to do with the Warframe Market app and the Warframe.com website and getting your cross save set up and then just using the marketplace to list and everything. And now I'm kind of in the process of I've listed like one item and I'll see how easily I can sell like a 200 platinum uh, ribbon, which I happen to have two of that ribbon already. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And I kind of need to get some platinum to get some slots to make the whole thing a little bit smoother of going and opening them. But so I'll leave that for now. I just wanted to do a little video here that's a little off topic, not about Warframe, but about my job in the healthcare system and as a public servant. Um, I just want to say thank you and sorry to the public. Thank you for all the opportunities that your taxes give me that you don't get. I've tried my hardest to avoid taking advantage of this, and it's just turned into a total gong show, a total toxic work environment. I can't even handle being there. So now my only real option is to like also take advantage of the overtime, the unnecessary overtime opportunities that are being given to me to be at work less and get paid more of your tax dollars for working less. Even though my job is like so incredibly easy to begin with. I mean, I go into a work environment where we, the workers, just like decide how hard we're going to work and nobody tells us any differently. So, and nobody really appreciates it. So I just want to like come out and say, thank you to all the people that are slaving away at hard jobs and actually taking on the stress and everything. Yeah, on behalf of all the government workers out there that are taking advantage of how loosely government spending is being dished out and everything. Thank you. I'm sure there's a lot of you who have seen people out there in your lives and you thought they were really hardworking people doing doubles all the time and stuff. Well, it turns out that I can just manipulate my schedule, and instead of doing 5 days, I could do two doubles and make like 6 days pay and only go in twice. And uh, yeah, I mean, not to mention our full time people. I'm not full time, but our full time people get like 23 sick days a year. It starts at, and then you get more. We get like 17 vacation days a year. And then we can also just call in sick as much as we want on top of that, and no one will ever ask questions. And on top of that, they initiated management, like during COVID, initiated some stuff where anytime someone calls in sick, a call out goes out, which is just created. For a while, they weren't even doing regular time call outs. It was just creating endless overtime, and they still haven't stopped that. It's like tonight, I didn't even get a call to go to a shift because there was still 2 hours of stat pay, and it's the only days that like everybody goes in. So I didn't even get a call out tonight. And the night before, I didn't get one until 2 minutes before my shift, which shouldn't even happen. But yeah, tonight I didn't get a call out at all. I guarantee you there's overtime people in there right now making $50 an hour Canadian. There's people in that place that are making 100K a year and they're planning on buying like investment properties and stuff. So like thank you honestly to the public, like for all of you struggling to even pay your rent like me, where you're getting kicked out of places and you can't even pay because it's all just about money now and you can't even like pay rent and stuff. This whole province, BC, Canada in general, but BC has just been sold, bought and sold, hoard out really, and it's nothing compared to what it was. And the people here are going to be miserable because of where we're headed. And I don't know about you guys, but I personally, within my family, have stories of myself and my loved ones being let down by the medical system already. And I've already told my parents, you're going to see it more and more now going into the future. And you're going to start asking, why am I not getting the care that I've worked for my whole life? You've been lied to. So I'm here telling you the truth. Like, thank you for all of the super comfy opportunities, the 23 sick days that happen without question. I just call in and deal with an automated thing, and then it sends out an overtime thing. I could call in late, it sends out an overtime thing. I've heard rumors of WhatsApp groups manipulating the overtime. I've heard rumors of shift swap things manipulating the overtime. I don't even care. For years now, I've gone to management and tried fighting it. I've said that I would go pay for my own training on forklift. Very simple stuff here. I have thousands of hours of forklift training, and I say I'll go pay for my own training to help alleviate the overtime. You can call me as a casual instead of calling in overtime. Nope. No, sorry, we have to do our own training in-house. And then they don't do any train. Like, I've been wanting to get trained for years. Oh no, you have to become full-time. That's not even true, for one thing. I'm pretty sure they're just supposed to train in order of seniority. I'm over 4,000 hours now. Doesn't make a difference. They've passed me up so many times. I get screwed over left, right, and center. My only option is to like be filing grievances, where then all they do is pay you money. Even if it's back paid, even if you got screwed over for like a year straight, they'll pay you a year of taxpayers' monies, and then get you to hush. It's hush money. They're like, now you can't talk about it anymore. Here's your hush money. Now I don't have a problem with how broken the system is anymore. So then someone else, they're paying like multiple people to do like one person's job because of all the filings of grievances and all the sick pay. And then everybody's all the time just gone away. Oh, whether it's sick for this long or injured for this long, the amount of people getting injured is fucking insane. You want to see how fragile people are? Go to a job where when you get hurt, you get to sit at home for 6 months and still get paid. And then they should be posting ROIs anytime anyone gets hurt, and then somebody else should get trained on that person's training. They just haven't done it. They do whatever they want. I don't see how management isn't in. It's either complete. I like this. I've heard this in American politics lately, in U.S. politics. It's like, okay, can you decide? Is this complete and utter incompetence, or is this corruption? I love this question because I've been asking it myself for a long time now. The management is literally trying to point fingers at the employees as if we're the ones, it's our fault because we're taking advantage of an opportunity they gave us for unlimited overtime. Anytime anyone calls in, a call out goes out. They've got the training system so manipulated with the who has forklift training. It's a small little group. A bunch of people get the training and then just say they never want to drive in forklift, and then they don't train any more people, as if there's a cap on how many people can be trained. They don't tell us there's a cap. I couldn't tell you, man. Everything's just off instincts. All I know is I walk out of there limping because of the way I've been treated, like, every day. I walk out of there just knowing that I've been smacked around, that I've been taken advantage of, that I was not provided with lube before they serviced me. You know what I'm saying here. So yeah, like, thank you to the public. I've tried reaching out to so many people, even my loved ones and everything, and the whole boomer mentality is just, you take any opportunity that's given to you. You know, as a late millennial here, I will tell you, I've been told that by like everyone who cares about me because I struggle. And they all just tell me, take advantage of any opportunity given to you. You know, your whole life you're told, if everyone jumps off a bridge, are you going to jump off a bridge, type of thing. But then when it comes down to it, everyone you know will tell you to just sacrifice your morals and what you think and know is right in order to just like get by in life. And now everyone's doing that. Like, literally everyone. My family is all good people, and they all tell me to do what isn't good, and they don't even see it because they just. And maybe that's how boomers got by, man. And maybe that's how we got to where we are right now. Is by people, oh, let's just not talk about it. Let's talk about our feelings, but hey, take advantage, you know? Let's not talk about how you feel like taking advantage of the public is wrong. Let's not talk about how something needs to be done. Let's not talk about how the future of healthcare is going to be a disgraceful mess. Let's not talk about how you're taking perks that most people don't get, perks paid for by them and their tax dollars. Yeah, let's keep I mean, I can't say we're taking advantage of immigrants and stuff because I'm 5% minority white on my shift. So if I work with 50 people, if I'm on the main floor there, where all the, you know, where all the people are, there's one white person, me, two white people maybe. and 50% Indian people and Filipino, lots of Filipinos and a few Chinese people. No black people still here in BC. It's fucking ridiculous. Um, so yeah, it's hard to. Anyways, just you know, and I've been given opportunities I could have been taken advantage of for years now, and I'm at the point where I'm just going to quit. Like, I can't live in this province anymore because I can't afford to live here. And I've literally gone to everyone. I've emailed all three of my managers. Like, I've gone on YouTube. I've gone on Twitter. I've tried reaching out to people. I've tried, honestly. Somebody needs to step up who actually cares in government. All it takes is one fucking person and like create more public oversight. We have none. We don't even mention the public. We don't mention that you guys are paying our paychecks. We don't mention that if we're taking advantage of the system, we're taking advantage of you. We don't mention that you're our bosses. We scoff at the idea of being public servants. I don't care. I'm proud. If I want the paycheck, I have to accept the role. And if I didn't accept that role, I wouldn't want to go in and do my job every night. Okay, but everyone there would be, there's so many people that would be offended by the term public servant. They have completely and utterly forgotten who they are working for. And as long as you, the public, keeps allowing this, when you have people like me coming out and turning on my friends and family, trying to tell you about what's going on, making my own life harder, battling my management and disagreeing with my coworkers, I can't do this forever. You may think it's easy. You may have some answer like, oh, get involved with your local MP. Go see this. Go see this. No, I need you, the public who are paying our paychecks, to have a problem with it. So I'm done. I can't ceaselessly strive anymore. I've gone in. I have the emails from management spanning back years now. I can't. You know, I've had my car keyed at work after trying to like step up, or like it could have been an accidental dent, but I've never seen an accidental dent like that. I ask about it, nobody steps up, of course. There's no respect. Nobody has any respect for each other at all anymore. You can't, the public, you cannot be trusting the government with your money anymore. Trudeau took it and then just gave it to the provinces with zero public oversight, and in his mind, that's good enough. Okay, and then the provinces, all it takes is what? Like one corrupt person up near the top who's getting paid to initiate unlimited overtime? My coworkers are profiting thousands of dollars a paycheck. And I've been trying to get in the way for too long. It's so toxic, I'm going to quit because I can't handle to be there. So I'm going to start doing doubles so I can be there less. I'm just going to work 2 doubles, do 4 shifts, and get paid for like 6 days. And what you, the public, have just lost is you're investing more than you have to, and you're getting so much less out of it than you should. Like, I should have been able to get a full-time position at this job. Everything they told me when I was getting hired was a lie. I'll never be honest on a resume again. It turns me into a sucker. I'll never be honest to a landlord again. It turns me into a sucker. They all try to take advantage of me. Like, this world and what it's doing to people. But I'm not gonna, you know, I've had assistance in the past for like my mental struggles and everything, and I was proud to get away from that. I finally found a job that was so easy that I could get away and I could manage, and now it's just the people. Now it's the evil, selfish, toxic, um, destructive towards the healthcare environment. Everyone just says one thing and does another. I can't take it, and neither will any of the autistic youth that are growing up right now. My whole life, people told me I couldn't handle. It's like, oh, I'm sorry that I have a problem with you requiring me to say one thing and do another, where everything's just a lie that I shake my head and nod to, and then I go off and like do whatever the hell I want. Sorry that doesn't work for me. Sorry it sucks to live in a world where you can give rules to 100 people, and like I'm one of the 3 people that listens to you, and therefore I just end up getting taken advantage of. Not to mention I end up feeling bad when you give us shit, whereas the other people, they don't care. They walk around and they have conversations in other languages about how much the management can go fuck themselves. And And then there I am, like, oh man, they're calling me out. I feel bad. Like, I gotta work harder. I gotta, like, man, it is not an environment for honest people anymore. It's not an environment for any of the new generation people coming up. None of you are going to want to have anything to do with this bullshit. This is boomer workplace. Man, this is a boomer workplace. This is their problem, their mess. They've destroyed this while acting like they're out there working hard, and they've just been taking advantage of fucking opportunities that you new generations will never get. Ever. Not the pensions, not the, like, none of it. This is all going to collapse. You're just paying for these people to go off and enjoy their retirements and the services. I'm sure you've all noticed it. Look at how easy is it for you to get into clinics? How easy is it for you to get prescription refills? They told us during the pandemic that all the restrictions were due to, like, doctor shortages and everything. Okay, well, I ask you, how have they improved the situations in hospitals since then? They have not. They've done nothing. They have built thousands and thousands of frickin' condo homes, adding more and more people to our city. Meanwhile, people who have lived in Langley their whole life and have been relying on places like Glover Medical, that place turned into such a crap hole. You know, it went from, if you went there at 11, you could still get in, just walk in and see a doctor and, like, get your prescription or whatever. And then it turned into, you better be lining up at 8 a.m. outside the door and there's going to be like 10 people ahead of you. Then it turned into, oh, you have to call in, and you can call at 8 when they open, and you're not going to hear back from them till 2 p.m. And that's just so the receptionist can tell you that the doctor will call you in 3 days. Okay? Do you see how far things have fallen? How many of you men out there have family doctors who have actually been recommending that you get your physicals? I haven't. I've never had a physical. They say you're supposed to start at 30. I've never had a doctor tell me I should get a physical. I'm 40 years old. You know, like, everything they are doing right now, they are just chasing people like me out of this province. You know, I'm a 40-year-old, free-thinking, open-minded, white, straight male Canadian, okay? And I'm willing to stand up for what's right and fight for the public. And I can tell you, I'm a fucking rarity. People look at me like I'm an idiot when I try standing up for you guys, the public. An idiot. Everyone else is just an option. So thank you, and I'm sorry. This whole thing is collapsing anyways. It's all falling apart, and nobody will allow me to make a difference. Nobody will encourage me to make the difference that I want to make. And there's no one else out there trying to make it. No one. Don't obliviously go about your day. I know you all want to come home and just turn on Warframe 2 and play video games and not think about it. But we are all gonna, if we don't stand up now, if we don't demand more of the next government that's about to come in before they get here, then we're just gonna have the exact same thing. If we don't make it clear to the next government that our expectations for public oversight and for control of the spending, and that somebody's going to have to take responsibility for it, because right now we live in an era where in these government jobs there's nobody taking responsibility for what's happening with your money. Nobody. $100,000 worth of product can get wasted just because it was left out on the floor and needed to be in a freezer, and they'll, like, fire a manager over it who it wasn't even his fault. They'll fire a manager over it, and then nothing changes. They haven't fixed any problems. The scheduling is so broken. They've moved us onto a universal scheduling system with, like, all the healthcare in BC. Ever since they've done that, it does nothing but mess up. We used to have somebody in-house that you could just call for scheduling and talk to them and everything. Now it's so confusing. Like, I don't even have the patience to figure. I'm sure the IT guy who set it up on his computer with his programs, I'm sure it all makes perfect sense to him and he thinks it's nothing. They just don't realize how many people are going to struggle with their stupid system and then just not be able to use it. And then they're just going to get less opportunities. And So, anyways, I'm about to switch because my roommate is running to Alberta, the next province over. He bought farmland, something that we all got convinced we need to give up. And now you can't go to the grocery store and buy like a pack of hot dogs and some juice without spending like $50. And yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we had gardens? But no, what do we all have? We have patios in our skyscraper apartments where they would tell you that you can't even have a garden on your own patio, or you can't even put like your bike on your own patio. Does that really feel like your house to you? You need to stare at your bike in your living room every day because you can't put it on your third floor balcony? Dude, that's not your house. You don't own it. Your everything you do is like what your neighbors and what the housing association and what your homeowners association, whatever, homo association. It's like you can only do what they tell you can do now. And when they change the rules and tell you you can't do something new, you just can't do it anymore. Have fun. Everyone's gonna go nuts in these fucking places, man. People are gonna be getting kicked out. What are they gonna do when they're getting kicked out? Ever had disgruntled neighbors leaving the place you live in like every week? Because that's what it's going to be like in these stupid condo buildings. One person falls asleep with a cigarette. Hey, the sprinklers might put it out. They're also going to ruin everything in like all the apartments around. The smoke damage is going to make it so you can't salvage anything. So maybe your confidence in like other people is higher than mine, but I am reluctantly moving into one of these places because it is my only option, and it's going to cost me literally every penny that I can handle to make. I'm going to have no time for family. I'm just telling my mom and dad, like, sorry, I know you love me, I know you need me in your life, I know it's important, but I've tried to tell you my whole life that this was leading to something I couldn't handle, and now I need to work so hard that I need every minute outside of work for myself. No plans, no driving anywhere, no going to see anyone, no doing anyone favors, just recharging so I can go back and handle that toxic, horrible environment where I know I'm contributing to the downfall of the Canadian healthcare industry. And then the other thing is, we're operating off 25% overtime right now. How am I supposed to fight for a raise when we're operating off 25% overtime that shouldn't even be happening? That number should maybe be like 5%. But we're just creating it now. We can work as hard as we want. Management has zero control. They just pretend. They even try calling us out sometimes. It's very sad. Very sad. I try to put them in their place whenever they try aiming the crosshairs at me. I tell them why I'm disrespecting them. I tell them that they're the reason everything is happening there, that they're responsible and only they can stop it. And that I'm not going to disrespect my coworkers. I have to get along with everyone despite what I think about what they're doing. Despite, you know, anytime they open their mouth about COVID or politics or overtime or any of that stuff, the Canadian healthcare, like any of it. I don't agree with anyone at my work about anything. I have no friends there. And all my coworkers that I really loved just left because they're smarter than me, and it's like, get the hell out. They have the ambition to get the hell out, whereas I appreciate how damn easy the job is. So like, I know how much I've struggled at other jobs. I know I've finally found something I can handle, and I'm very reluctant to walk away. Like I said, I've needed help just to get by in the past, and I was very proud to. Nobody encouraged me to put that help down. Nobody told me to get away from it. And now I learned why they didn't want to give it to me in the first place, because nobody does get away from it. There's no programs out there to help encourage people who are struggling to get like away from assistance. And in places like my work, like, do they not know there's programs out there to get workplaces more ready for things like the autistic generations that are coming up? Do you think my workplace has done anything that like that? No, unions haven't. Union means never change. Union means perks for us while the public struggles. I don't know what you think union means. I don't know how you've been misled by the people that were probably benefiting inside these unions as to what union means. But it means you have protection. It means nobody is responsible for wasting the taxpayers' money. It means nobody gets in shit for anything. It means you can't get fired. It means you are given opportunities to take advantage of the public and the system, where if you don't do it, everyone would just look at you and be like, why aren't you doing it? It's honest thievery is what it is. It's honest fucking thievery. And everyone, it breaks my heart to see people that I've respected so much, like my father. You know, my parents think that I'm causing my own problems by not taking advantage of the system. That breaks my heart, man. I'm a good person just like them. I'm a good person because they're good people and they made me, and they dare. I don't care. I will go live in a forest before I will sell my own morals. But at the moment, I am going to have to start doing doubles. They shouldn't be an option. It shouldn't be allowed. I will keep coming on here and trying to like share my voice about what's happening. It just doesn't do any good. I also have to be careful what I say. If the wrong person hears it, they will come after me. They will try to get rid of me. They will unfairly block my shift offers. They will stop me from ever getting trained. My car will get damaged in the parking lot. Okay? I'm putting my fucking neck out to try to tell people to pay attention to what's going on, because you're all going to pay attention when it all falls apart. And maybe that's what this is intentionally leading us towards privatization. And maybe that would be by the people who are going to profit the most from privatization. If you want to find out who's in charge of the corruption, follow the money trail. It's really that simple. All the dollars are all traced. Okay, 25% of our operating costs is going into overtime. What percent of the employees are taking that overtime? I bet it's about 10. Okay, so when you can trace the lost money, you can start asking questions. Why have just this small group of people had access to this? Oh, it's their training. Okay, so what's the training? How come you guys haven't been? Oh, you've had people asking to get trained and you still don't do it. Oh, you allow people to get trained and then say they're never going to work in that position, but they still have access to shifts. You don't take the shift offers away. They just tell you they're not going to do that anymore, and you don't train anyone else. You know, it's not hard. Oh, what's that? The public's been paying for the last 3 years to have somebody in-house doing training, and that person trained like 2 new people, even though we have nights where there's 4 hours of nothing to do. I literally, up until this point, and I'm not going to do it anymore, I've been leaving work when we have nothing to do. There will be 50 people standing around getting paid by your tax dollars. Your taxes keep going up. The price of everything for you keeps going up. Because at places like my work, that's lower level healthcare, lower level government healthcare. If it's happening there, it's happening everywhere. And I'm just giving up all hope. I mean, my roommate's leaving. He's going to Alberta. So in the next month, I got to now move out. Uh, you know, you go back 5 years, you go back 3 years, and I was paying like $1,000 to live in 500 square feet above somebody's garage. And for a lot of people, that wouldn't have been good enough. I don't need a bunch of luxury. I just need like affordable. I need to be not putting every bit of my effort into just paying my rent. That, you know, I've always sacrificed the quality of where I live. I've always had roommates. I've always made it work over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I can tell you now, Langley has just run out of options. If you're not rich, if you don't have money, if you're not married, if you're not still living with your parents, just don't be here. Just don't be here. All this place will do is drain you of everything you've got. It'll turn you into a bitter and selfish person, and you'll just be paying for the perks of other people. If you're living here and you're struggling, you are just paying for other people to be like comfortable. And they don't care about you. They don't even think about your struggles. And even if they knew, they wouldn't care. They would keep doing what they're doing. So I don't know why you guys are okay with what's happening with your tax dollars. I'm not okay. I'm not okay leaving this shambles of a system for my niece and nephew in the future. Like, I don't have kids and I don't care. My life's been good, man. Apophis could hit us in 2029. It could come back and hit us in 2035 or whatever. Like, we could have 5 to 10 years right now. 5 years for the David Bowie fans. You know? But, like, and that's the way I see things. I'm like, my life's been so good. I lived at, like, peak humanity. And I'm seeing things go downhill. I'm seeing things fall apart. I'm seeing government spending has just, it does nothing but constantly spiral out of control. Their answers are always just to create a new, I know this is cliche shit, but it's always been so true. Okay, all the people in your life that have been trying to tell you to like not listen to conspiracy theorists and stuff, you gotta like look at those people honestly and start asking questions. You gotta start wondering why they were so supportive of a government that has led us to where we are, and then you gotta start thinking that the only reason the government has been able to get away with what they have and how horrible of a job they've done is because they continue to get support. Okay, no matter how much the younger generations start asking questions, all we've done is go to our parents who don't even want it. We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about religion. Wow, who told you that, boomers? Like, who told you that? Was it the news that was like, and by the way, don't talk about what we just talked about, but only get your news from here? You guys hear that shit on the radio? I'll be at work. I can't even handle it. It's like, do you want real and informed news coverage? Come to the only place for reliable news, the government. Oh, yeah? Really? All right, well, let's just look at recent examples of how the government has controlled narratives and whether they've been right or wrong. It's not too fucking hard. How about you just look at the track record that they have and what it's cost us? We don't even know. But what I can tell you is there are so many millennials to Zoomers that were asking, what are we doing with this COVID response? You have no idea what this is doing, how this is crippling the future generations. And we're doing it out of fear. And it saved us nothing. It improved our hospital systems nothing. It made it so a bunch of people had to die with their like family on the other side of glass. I'm sorry, I would have killed myself if one of my parents had gone during COVID and I had to look at my mom bawling on the other side of glass as I just stand there with my hand against it and she's reaching out to me. Start thinking for your fucking selves, man. Or at least listening to the people that are like, you know, we get labeled as like unbalanced or like we just can't control our emotions and stuff just because it breaks our hearts what we're headed towards. But you're all going to see it and it's going to be too late. Hindsight means nothing. Don't even tell me about how anyone respects being proactive. No one respects being proactive because until the problem comes and literally, you know, blows down your fucking house, people don't see it. Until it affects directly the stuff around them, people don't see it. And then even then, COVID affected everyone negatively. And no one was willing to ask questions. I'm not saying what was right and what was wrong. I'm saying we should have been able to have so many more free discussions. And instead, what did they do? The news turned off the comments on YouTube. On YouTube, you couldn't even say COVID. You still can't say things like, you have to say self-delete instead of what you actually mean. You have to say grape instead of what you actually mean. You need to say, you know, you need to say PDF file instead of what you actually mean. And we all know what it means anyways. When we say these things just so we can have our secret conversations about what's ruining the world. Because the government doesn't even want us talking about what we think about how their reactions are and everything. Thank God we have X now. Thank God. And I'm no mean Elon. I also am not sure where I stand spiritually. But what I do believe in is free speech. And I can fucking tell you that YouTube just stopped. YouTube and Facebook and the news are one big controlled medium that does not allow doesn't even allow people to say, to question the government and question what's going on. They do everything they can to block these people, demonetize these people, You got to literally play games to have the most important conversations that should be happening if you're trying to do it on Facebook and YouTube, because the government is so eager to stop you from talking about the way things are falling apart. And I can't listen to it anymore. When I'm at work and I have to hear that, I already hate the radio, but then when it goes to commercials and I got to hear like the only trusted news source for man, I'm quite frankly, it sounds like hearing somebody like, and this is a drastic example, I just don't have another one. To me, it's like hearing like Hitler on the radio. If it was like 2000, if it was like 1939 or something, and it's just like, no, like we must stand up for ourselves. We must have, like German pride. We must not, blah blah, whatever the hell. I've never listened to the translated. I should. I heard AI has like translated all of Hitler's stuff into English. It would be great to hear the crap that they used on the public to try to manipulate them into what we all can agree now was evil. It would be absolutely great to hear what was spewed out on the official like government radios and everything in English, to hear like what they were saying and look for the similarities between how they controlled speech and what we hear today. So I just ask people to be a little bit open-minded when it comes to things like X, because it is actually a platform where you can go on and speak your mind freely. You're not going to have your account taken away. You can freely partake in real discussions where people are actually speaking. Is it more vile? Yes, it is. And that's because YouTube, the media, and Facebook is less vile. It has been painted up with rose-colored glasses to be a small percent as vile as humans actually are. And it does this nice job of pretending, whereas X is more of an actual example of how ugly humanity can be. So yes, it will be hard for some people to look at it and admit like that, and to take responsibility for how shitty humans can be. Like I get that, because we've all been looking through our rose-colored window out at the outside world that the government wanted us to see. Like, so I understand that it's hard to go on something like X and see some of the ugly stuff that's on there, but it's time we start looking at the ugly and embracing some of the ugly, because when it comes to things like the healthcare system and what's happening with the general mentality of public service workers, um, it's we need foresight. We need to be proactive. I'm not going to be around to fight. I'm 40 years old right now. I'm going to be physically. I'm in good shape, man. I'm probably in the best shape of my life, and I've never been more motivated to be in better shape. And yet when I go, I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. I had a 4-year relationship at 20 years old, and I helped pay for that girl to go to school and everything, and then she left me for her teacher, who was 10 years my senior with my same name. People just look for opportunities now because that's what we've been told to do. That's what women have been told to do by other women, by whatever, Cosmopolitan magazine, by whatever I don't know. I stopped listening. But people like me, who are just honest people who have struggles because of that, we have no appeal to people. They would rather have an emotionally numb person who can make 100K a year, and I'll never be that. I'll sacrifice money to try to do what's right, and that's just never going to be appealing to many people. People want a nice house, obviously. They want to be provided for. They won't say it, but that's on everybody's minds. Half the reason I want to be in a relationship is for a dual income. I have no problem saying it. Two heads are better than one. Some head is better than none. No, I didn't mean that. That was just a joke. Um, so people like me, and in the past, after 4 years and that girl broke my heart and everything, left me for an opportunity, even though I helped her be in that opportunity in the first place. Um, that really stunted my maturing, and it's been really hard for me to be in relationships since. Me and that girl used to think about kids and getting married for years and stuff, and You know, that's like all stuff that I had to let go of and everything, and that was heartbreaking. And now white people, we're literally going to erase ourselves in Canada here and over in Europe. It's just we're, you know, they're a bit ahead of us where they're now the minority. But like I said, I'll be the one out of 30 people on the floor who's white in a night, and even when I go in the back, I'll be like one of two white people. Uh, yeah, my friends, like one friend went to China 15 years ago and started a family. His kids are half Chinese. You know, I got friends here. One of the first ones that got married like a Filipino girl. He's got two beautiful half Filipino kids. Yeah. And then meanwhile, I see a bunch of white people that have had about 40 different relationships, and you know, the body counts are looking good. If only body counts led to reproduction in 2024. You would think logically that the more body counts you have, the more likely you would have been to reproduce. So it seems to make it a bit more disappointing to watch ourselves disappear here. Like, people better start having the conversation of what they're going to do when this is a Muslim country. And because right now we're just concentrating on like trans rights and stuff that kind of goes against Muslim religion and stuff. So I'm not sure why we're propping up for a future that's going to be looked down upon by the people that could be making up the majority of our country. I'm really not sure what the struggles are going to be like for Zoomers and stuff who have embraced all this stuff that we've decided to focus on, this trans ideology and this pride stuff and everything. Like, this is kind of like a celebrated by white people thing, but it's like we're celebrating it as we disappear. So I wonder what it's going to be like for the last remaining bits of these people that were convinced that if the ultimate path to acceptance was to do this, where people don't have a choice but to accept you. It's like, no, there's a lot of people that are pretending to accept you. Like I said, we live in a world where people say one thing and do another. And right now, this whole acceptance thing, throw up some air quotations with that acceptance. You're going to find out in the future for real, once we are the minority trying to, like, really the minority, and we don't have that support from boomers and stuff that feel like, you know, they got stuff in the past they're trying to make up for still. You know, that you only have to go to like my parents' generation before, you know, their childhoods were definitely filled with significantly more casual racism. Uh, you know, men were a lot bigger. Men were a lot more abusive. I'm not saying they're not abusive now, but who knows? Like, how do we measure? How do we measure? How do we measure how abusive women have become? Are women becoming more abusive as they get like more power and as they, you know, answer me that. Are men becoming less abusive or more abusive? But then we need to look at like white men, and then we need to consider like what is going to be the future. Is the same respect going to be there? Canada is a place of acceptance and respect, but we are transitioning. Funny, we are our population. These are stats. Okay, don't get your panties in a twist. Just look up the predicted reproduction and population stats for Canada and the world. Look for religions. The world by 2050, it's looking like the world is going to be majority Muslim. So I get it. You don't want to have these conversations. That's cool. But some of us, like, we see this and it's on our minds. So don't just call us unstable. Because when the time comes and the real struggle is upon us, like, I'm not going to be here to fight anymore. Like I said, my roommate's leaving. He's going to Alberta. He's going to be on farmland. He's going to grow trees. He's going to have a garden. He's going to get away from all this chaos. He's not going to live on a apartment in the sky that takes all his rent. He's going to live on a land where, yeah, there's going to be tons of expenses, but guess what? He's on agricultural land. His property taxes on 12 acres is going to be like $1,200 a month. All right? And he's not going to be paying rent. It's going to be a different type of lifestyle, don't get me wrong, but he's going to be able to grow his own food. Yeah, it's Alberta, so you got to pay attention to the weather. There are different. He was telling me about like the different tiers of like vegetation you can get and stuff that's going to be able to survive during the colder. And then he's going to do like greenhouses. He's going to get chickens. He's even thought about like a cow. I think that's a lot of work. And like what happens when you need like a vet and stuff. Like that just sounds expensive. But apparently there's places where you can help raise the cow until it's slaughter ready, so then you can get milk out of it and stuff and take care of it the whole time you're just taking care of someone else's cow. Anyways, rambling along, I'll wrap this up. My roommate is leaving and going to Alberta. I'm going to leave too. A lot of the men that I know that were strong enough to be able to fight and were wanting to help build a better Canada, a lot of us are giving up. A lot of us have been disregarded, and our parents just think we're crazy now, and half of our friends have left us because they don't want to hear us try to be proactive about the problems of the future. They don't want to hear it anymore. Our parents never wanted to hear it, and like I said, in my immediate family right now, I have somebody who just learned that due to not the clinic not getting back to them with results, they now have had a problem that has grown into a much bigger problem, which could have drastic life-changing ramifications. All because the clinic didn't get back to them with results. So I don't know what your level of care has been, but I've been warning my family. I've been warning my parents. 6 months ago, I told my mom, like, Dad's 70. No, he's like 70 something, I think, 71, 72. It's like, and men don't live as long as women do, and he's 7 years older than you. So this was kind of my whole point I was getting into. It's like, I don't have a family of my own to dedicate myself to, which means I'm like purposeless. I'm just out here taking care of myself. I've tried making a difference in the healthcare system. I've tried making a difference in the future of Canada. Nobody wants to let me. They're not. I'm gate kept from making a difference. You don't believe me it's true? Get out there and make a difference yourself and see what happens. You'll get gate kept. Suddenly there will be somebody standing in your way giving you excuses as to why you can't make a positive difference for the future of Canada and why your opinions of what's going on don't matter. So I told my parents, like, I don't have my own family. I don't have my own thing. It's like, and Dad's, the odds of him going first and you having like a decade without him are huge. And that's going to be the worst decade of Canadian healthcare that in our lifetime. It will be the absolute worst of it because it just keeps getting worse every year now with no signs of getting better. And so far, nobody's even talking about how to make it better. So, like I said, if I can't even get people to have discussions, people don't even want to listen to how the system's being manipulated. They said, look, man, there's nothing you can do. Just take advantage of what you can. And so I tried to tell my parents, like, why did we have this culture where we literally shame each other into leaving the house at 18? It's like, oh, you still live at home at 20? Like, you fucking loser. Like, that was the mentality that we got passed down from boomers. So we all moved out, like, immediately. And we didn't move in with our siblings. We all moved out on our frickin' own. So now here's me and my sister. 2 out of 3 of the kids are still single. And now she's paying like $1,700 a month rent. My only option is going to be to go into a place and pay like $2,200, $2,300 a month rent is what I'm going to have to walk into right now. I'm going to get right close to work, not even have a car, blah, blah. Who cares? All my money, all my time, no effort for anything. So I told my mom, like, why do we do this? Like, why am I going to be out there? What about when Michelle has to move now and suddenly she's paying $2,300 a month rent and I'm out there paying $2,300 a month rent? That's $4,600 a month that we're just paying into the mortgage of someone else's investment property so that their family can have security in the future. And like my sister, she's not where I am mentally. She's, 3.5 years younger, which puts her around 37 and a half. That means she still has the hope of like family and having a baby, regardless of what there is to say about that. It's understandable. She's not as pessimistic as I am. Whereas I think stop trying to make a relationship work. It's too hard because you need to provide a certain standard of living in order to be in a relationship. And in this province, I can't provide that level to another person while still taking care of myself. So I pessimistically have kind of just accepted now. Don't sit here getting tossed around, used and abused and chipped down by women, by relationships, by people who have, their body counts are like 20 and 30, and they're going to come in and like rip my heart out and stomp it on the ground. Like, I'm sorry, if your body counts 30, you don't deserve to rip my heart out and stomp it on the ground. If your body counts anything worse than twice mine, which it would have to be a lot lower for it to be twice mine, yeah, it changes the way I can. Yeah, I want somebody who's been similar to me, somebody who actually chose to be alone, not somebody who just says it and then goes off and, whatever. So I try to tell my parents, like, I don't have my own family. I was like, why don't, we never should have all separated. Why don't you guys, like, sell the place you're in right now? And then we take my 2,200 and my sister's 2,200, and we all get into a house together that's going to go up in value. And then that would put us in the house to be able to take care of my parents, because my dad, he's at like 72 or whatever. That's getting up there. It's getting to the point that we might start having to think I might be needed more to actually help start taking care of my mom. So it's like, do you want to rely on the healthcare system once you get older and start needing help, or do you want to have your kids around? Because if we keep going the way that we're going, all the BC millennial kids are moving to Alberta and like leaving this place now. All the kids that grew up here, I moved here in 1990. I'm still here, but I'm getting squeezed out like this year or next year. I just can't do it anymore. This place is about nothing but profit, corruption, gambling, corruption, illegal money cleansing, corruption, housing market corruption. It's nonstop. Nobody's even looking into it, and there's so much of it that's just multiplying on top of each other right now. If you're proudly paying taxes, you should really give your head a shake. At least accept like what's happening with your money, how it's being wasted, how it's hurting some people, quite honestly. Free drugs being handed out and everything. Uh, Men are filling the streets, men are overdosing on the streets, men are suffering mentally more, and we have less support. And yet now we live in an era where you can't even like turn around and say that you are worried about men and you support men. People will look at you and be like, "Are you serious?" It's like, yeah, here's the stats on how men are suffering. Here's what the government does for women. Here's what they do for men. Like, why wouldn't I be wanting? Why would I not? I have my own mental struggles. I've had suicidal idea. Oh, I just got myself fucking shadowed on here. I have self-harm ideology. So I sympathize. Like, sorry if I think it's wrong that 70% of self-harm people that follow through with self-harm are men, and if around that same number living on the street are men, and if the people overdosing, which it's up to like 8 or 10 a day now in BC, it was like 4. You could go back like 5-6 years, probably more than that, 5-6-7 years, it was 4 people a day were overdosing, and now it's up to like 10. uh, So yeah, I don't. I mean, the government, everything they do is with our tax dollars. We all play. We all play a role. There is no ignorance. You can't just claim ignorance. They want you to, so you don't sit there holding them accountable. But we're all accountable for what corruption is done with our tax dollars. Especially if your whole mentality has been to never have these discussions around what might be happening. Then that's exactly what's enabled it to keep happening. And I know the boomers, you just want to walk off into the sunset with the retirement that you earned. See, I hate it. You guys get your panties in a bunch and you're like, oh, I earned my retirement. You did. But the future generations deserved an equal chance at just a fair retirement, and they're never going to get it. So I'm sorry. I don't buy your. I think you guys got bought out with real estate money that has made you quiet. Why would you call out the government? People made 500,000 to $1 million off their houses in like 6 years. Does that sound like people that are going to start complaining? Let me tell you, no, it isn't. They literally have been bought into. And that goes the same with any voters. You give the people in unions enough comfort, they will vote for a certain government that enables them to keep their comfy union shit. They don't vote for what's best for Canada. People are just voting for what is best for them. So yeah, I tried telling my parents, but they still got that boomer. Oh, I just want to check a message on my phone here. Oh, my buddy might be down to game at 103. Ah, it's too late. He's not going to be. And then I see on X right now. Yeah, just let me click on this actually. This is a scene from Birmingham, and Muslims have shut down an entire road in protest for what? There's not a cop there, though. You guys remember the Freedom Convoy and what happened? Bouncy castles and trampolines. Yeah, people are honking their horn, but that's a part of trucker culture, man. When truckers step up to save the day, they're going to do it in their way, and they're going to do it with their culture.
Bitcoin is freedom. No central
And
authority.
getting together and blaring your... I got to turn that off. Getting together and blaring your horns and stuff out of protest, that's the peaceful way for truckers to protest, is what I've put together personally. I didn't know that, but I've seen videos. Hell, I think I even watched a movie that had like a gathering of truckers and everything, and that's what they did. Met up in the light, and they all met up in the night, all turn their lights on, and all sit there blasting their horns. It's like a celebration of the people that make our world go round. Like, it's beautiful, unless you just want to be a prick about it. Disregard what truckers do for us and what they're trying to stand up for. They're trying to stand up against vax mandates. They wanted to keep their jobs without getting a vaccine. And I can personally tell you that I had myocarditis, or whatever it's called. I had like spasms in my heart. I had to stop drinking coffee. I couldn't eat sugar. I couldn't smoke weed. I had to go in, get an EKG, or whatever the hell it's called, where they told me that there was nothing. And then I'm like, well, what do you mean it's nothing? I'm literally having spasms in my heart. Which is fine. The vaccines caused muscle spasms. A lot of people experience that. The heart is a muscle. Dehydration could play into it as well. I'm aware of that, but I don't even know what I'm saying here. Whatever. I'm right. The truckers and what they were protesting. And so me personally, yeah, obviously I side with the truckers. I thought I ruined my heart because I took a vaccine I didn't want to get so I could keep a job that I now hate, that is full of all people that think one way. Oh, I wonder how that happened. It's almost like we mandated that you have to think a certain... You can't be a free thinker. You just have to, if money's all you care about and you're not thinking about your own personal health, and now you're changing your DNA, and now the effects that this might have on future generations and the effects this might have on the healthcare industry. Like, I think we're still one of the only places that never hired back our unvaccinated workers. Fact check me on that, please. Either way, it took a very long time before... No, I don't think we ever did. So I was smart to get it, because my life would have fallen apart. I might be dead or living in a forest, and this was my way of remaining a contributing member of society, was to make that sacrifice. And then I ended up getting heart inflammation. Why? So Bonnie Henry could feel a little bit better at night, as she, being a boomer, being more susceptible, being overweight, being older, all these factors that create a bias in her and in boomers to want to make everyone else take that just so they can prolong the end of their life. They literally, can you imagine gradding during that, what was it, 2021? Literally, and like I said, with some family members passing away and everything, can you imagine some of that stuff? And this is all because of the people making these rules and the people supporting the voting. We live in a boomer society. We live where the boomers have... Look up what voting power the boomers have right now. Look at what they had in 2021. And then they had a reason to support that stuff. Not to mention, they had just been handed ridiculous real estate profits in that time in order to give them faith in the government. You know, I'm running out of time here. I got to wrap this up. But my own father said to me, "Good, if you don't want to get the vax, find a new job." It's like that could have ruined my heart and caused me my job. Could have caused me to end my own life. Like what a arrogant. He doesn't even know that I had to like forgive him for saying that. I'll never get credit for that. I wish he would be held accountable for such a stupid statement, so maybe he could change his stubborn views going forward. Anyways, I got to end this. It's been a rant. Thank you if you actually listened. I don't know why I even did this. I just had to get shit off my chest. I'm actually planning on, I got to just talk less because I'll be rethinking about this, everything I've said here for the next couple hours. Anyways, thanks a lot. I'll talk to you later. Cobrajin out. Peace, peace.